Okay, where do you want to start?
Hi, I'm Tom Sweet and I played Archie.
And I played who?
We're doing it to camera.
My name's Callum and I am the writer of Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Himesh Patel and I played Michael.
Hello, my name's Saul Abraham and I am trying my best.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, you start.
No! I'm not going back in there! Archibald! He's an amateur!
Maybe you need to actively focus on the positives a little bit more.
I think it might be good for Archibald to have some sort of male in his life.
There are no men like me!
Callum, what inspired you to write Enjoy and in what way is it autobiographical?
It's quite autobiographical. I did tutor different kinds of children and saw myself in one or two of them. Archie in the film is an amalgamation of experiences I had where I was teaching and I myself was depressed and couldn't really articulate how to help several other children who might have been going through similar things. And maybe this was kind of a way for me to articulate it through this script.
What first drew you to the project?
Obviously, I was lucky enough to make it with friends, so Saul and Callum were friends of mine already, and they reached out and said that, you know, they were thinking of making this short. Would I read it? I read it, I thought it was fantastic, so we met up and had a chat about the project, but also that sort of naturally spilled into talking about our own struggles with our mental health, and it felt like we were all just sort of being very vulnerable and talking about these things and folding that into the story.
I mean, feels weird kind of saying it in this setting, but we developed it for like 2 years on and off. And even though we'd known each other since we were very young, I think through developing it was like a weird thing where we would tell each other stuff through the film, I think, which is quite ironic in many ways because the whole film is about us not being able to talk about stuff and we had to find something like this to talk about.
Cypher, yeah.
Why don't we just
Touch it again and I'll have you fired.
Okay, sure, no worries, mate.
Stop calling me mate. We aren't mates.
Okay, well that's quite a rude way to speak to someone, really, isn't it? And I think your mum would be quite disappointed if I told her you weren't doing any work.
You're not even a proper teacher, are you?
It says here that you so brilliantly embodied Archie and made the character your own. I happen to agree. What drew you to him and what did you find interesting about him?
Well, I think he's a character who is struggling and he kind of unloads this onto someone completely undeserving. Quick-witted, cheeky, but also honest, I think, at the same time.
My mum said you're a musician and you just do this for money because nobody makes any money in music.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's actually a spoken word, and I actually have made some money from it, which is more than a lot of people can say.
She said proper money. Money to live off. She said it's not a route any sensible person would take in life.
Okay, well, that depends on what your definition of sensible is.
How did the chemistry reads go for Archie? What were you looking for in that role?
I'm not just saying this because you're here, but you were far and away the best choice for the role. Because you just had that you had some quality that, you know, that sort of intangible quality that you look for with roles. Sometimes I think you can get quite lucky and someone has that, and I think that's what we found with you.
Sometimes I get sad for quite a long time. And I don't know how to tell it to anyone like I want to. But when I try to, it's like words get blocked in my throat.
There's often this thing that people get told that they're old beyond their years, but really it's just because they're struggling with something internally, so they're not expressing themselves in a sort of childlike way. And I thought that was really interesting about the way you played the character, was that there was that sort of what can be perceived, I suppose, as maturity, but actually it's just a sort of, there's a silence because of whatever's going on inside, you know.
We auditioned like over 50 kids, didn't we? When Tom came in and he did the first scene, I think we all knew. We knew it was just like subtle, he was funny.
There's a lot of anger in the
There's a lot of anger. We really I hated him when he was bullying Himesh,
Yeah, yeah.
but then at the same time I really felt for him at the end, which a lot of actors could either do one or the other. Himesh was just like, can't believe how much that kid is like listening.
I said kneel! Is it not your natural state? It is the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy.
It's a good thing that I'm laughing. Yeah. It's a good thing. That's really good.
What do you hope people take away from the film?
I hope that people can understand that sometimes when people are struggling, they can put on this front that is, it's not pleasant, but it's not the person that they are. I think that speaks to the fact that they're struggling and that everyone needs someone to speak to. Otherwise, this kind of unhappiness, it just festers and becomes worse and worse.
Sometimes I get sad for quite a long time.
Right.
And I don't know how to tell it to anyone, like I want to. But when I try, it's like the words don't. I just get angry.
The goal was always to approach it in a way that it showed mental health as something that was a bit more fluid and didn't have it's not sort of a tap that you could be in control of and start and stop, and it never just ends, it comes and it goes, rather than something that is just a portrait of someone who is simply depressed and then they're simply happy. It's something that is a lot more difficult to grasp onto than that.
It's not on the nose, doesn't really explain everything away, but it presents something in a really truthful way. And I think that's something that people relate to.
Number one for us when we were developing it was making sure we never made anything preachy, telling people what they should do or just anything too obvious. I think you're always in danger of doing that when you're tackling an issue, especially an issue like this.
What about this film are you most proud about?
I think it was that it was such a wonderful sort of collaborative experience, I think, with everyone. For it to have started from a friendship, which I think is really lovely, it was done because everyone believed in the story that we were telling. And to know that that's where it came from is something I'm really proud of, yeah.
Got it?
We've got a lot.
Great.
Great. Yeah, lovely guys.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
Thanks. Oh yeah, take the mic.